You wherever you are watching us from. This is Dalsan TV, Somalia's top TV station for news and updates, and we have a lot lined up for you on this day of 7th May 2023. But first, let's have a look at what we have prepared for you. Somalia hails soon to start talks between Sudanese rival groups. Hirshabelle State vows to intensify operations against Al-Shabaab. Police arrest man with dead child near Dikfir Hospital in Mogadishu. TV, my name is Abdulrazak Ali. Somalia has welcomed the start of talks between the armed rival groups in Sudan. In a statement, the Somali Foreign Ministry lauded the Saudi and US government for facilitating the talks between Sudanese armed forces and rapid support forces in Jeddah. Somalia has welcomed the start of talks between the armed rival groups in Sudan. In a statement, Somali Foreign Ministry lauded Saudi and US government for facilitating talks between Sudanese armed forces, the rapid support forces in Jeddah. Somalia also commended efforts to end the clashes between the armed groups. The Foreign Ministry urged the armed groups to consider the interests of the Sudanese nation and engage in talks between the ceasefire. Somali government wished all parties involved in the Sudan conflict understand the possible devastating repercussions of their actions on Sudanese nation and people as well as the entire region. Elsewhere, the leader of Hirshabelle State has vowed to increase the fight against Al-Shabaab militant group. During a cabinet meeting in Johar, the leader said the forces in the state will soon be weeded out of the region. Hirshabelle State leader Ali Goodlawe Hussein has vowed to intensify operations against Al-Shabaab fighters in the state. During a meeting with his cabinet in Johar town, the leader said the forces in the state will soon launch operations against Al-Shabaab fighters. The meeting also discussed the security of the state, the efforts to avert floods by the river as well as the stabilization program report and their progress, the Crisis Recovery Program SCRP. Somali government, in cooperation with local clans in Hirshabelle and Galmudug states, had waged offensive against Al-Shabaab fighters. The allied forces liberated dozens of villages and towns in the Hiran, Galgadud, Mudug and Middle Shabelle regions. According to statement by the Ministry of Information, the government forces backed by local militias killed hundreds of fighters in the months-long operation. Last week, President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud declared that Al-Shabaab would be eliminated by the end of the year. Mohamud said the second phase of the operation would soon begin in Somalia's southwest state and the Jubaland region. Somalia is also depending on troops from Djibouti, Ethiopia, and Kenya after the neighboring countries in January agreed to jointly launch military operations against Al-Shabaab strongholds. Now, in Mogadishu, the authorities have arrested a man on Saturday afternoon after he was found with a dead child in his car near Dikfir Hospital in Hodan district. Police in Mogadishu arrested a man on Saturday afternoon after he was found with a dead child in his car near Dikfir Hospital in Hodan district. According to a statement from Benadir Regional Police Command, the suspect, who was driving a saloon car, was arrested following a tip-off from members of the public. The circumstances surrounding the death of the child remain unclear, and neither was the relationship between the man and the baby established. Police said the man was arrested and taken to CID headquarters, where he will be interrogated over the matter. Meanwhile, at least 130 people have been killed and over 5,000 others displaced, and 8 national roads and bridges destroyed by floods in Rwanda, officials have confirmed. According to Rwanda's Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Energy and Management, the recent death toll brings the total number of fatalities attributed to natural disaster in the country since January to 197. At least 130 people have been killed and over 5,000 others displaced, and 8 national roads and bridges destroyed by floods in Rwanda, officials have confirmed. According to Rwanda's Ministry of Energy Management, the recent death toll brings the total number of fatalities attributed to natural disasters in the country since January to 197. President Kagame, who condoled with family members of those who lost their lives, said his government was doing everything possible to address the situation. African Union Commission Chairperson Musa Faki Muhammad and Pope Francis sent condolences to the Rwandans who lost relatives in the disaster. The Pope said in a statement from the Vatican that he was deeply saddened to learn of the loss of lives and destruction caused by the recent flooding in the western and northern provinces of Rwanda, expressing his spiritual closeness with all those suffering in the wake of this disaster. It remains unclear what the most of the destruction is, but officials say it has affected areas, businesses, transport and travel, power and clean water supply. Efforts to mitigate the impact of harsh weather have proved ineffective, with previous investments of 21 billion Rwanda shillings failing to contain the overflow of Rwanda River Sebeya. The river flows from volcanic mountains through the northern and western districts. That's all we have prepared for you here on Dalsan TV. Thank you so much for keeping it on Dalsan. My name is Abdulrazak Ali. Have a lovely evening.